Here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Hey, Johnny, thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to work in the Jeopardy round. And here are the categories that await your selection. Food words and phrases, literary bears, the animal kingdom, TV shows that bombed, historic women, and let's celebrate. Okay, let's get back into this. Player one, you make the next selection as we... His story, The Bear, recounts an annual hunting expedition in Yoknapatawpha County, Mississippi. Yes, player one, use the Wii remote or press the corresponding direction on the plus control pad. Right. Player one, back to you. The nuclear blast that caused chaos in Jericho, Kansas was detonated in this state capital to the west. Okay, player one. Correct. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Fruit and lizards, yum, are favorite foods of the coati, also known by this longer name. Let's hear it, player two. No, sorry. Any other takers? Player one? No, sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player three. Yes. Choose again, player three. Here's Kelly from our Clue Crew with the clue.
A nursery rhyme says, this person, mend my shoe. Get it done by 2:30.
Okay, player one. That's it. Please pick again, player one. This first American woman in space heads a company geared to girls who are interested in science and math. Player one. That's right, way to go. You get to pick again, player one. Meaning a coming, it's the period before Christmas that begins on the Sunday nearest to November 30th. Yes, player one. Anyone else? It's player three. That is correct. Player three, pick again. Collecting money for UNICEF on this holiday was begun in 1950 by a Philadelphia Sunday school class. Player three. Select again. She met her beloved teacher Anne Sullivan in 1887. Yes, player one. Nope. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? It's player two. Good for you. Player two, back to you. In a 1977 episode of this sitcom, Detective Dietrich notes that a student's physics project is a functional nuke. Let's hear it, player one. Good. Choose again, player one. And I'll hand it off to Kelly.
If you see one of these under the sea, look, but don't touch. The spines can be poisonous.
Okay, player one. You got it. Player one, back to you for our next selection. On this doctor's island, you'll find a bear bull and an old woman made of vixen and bear. It's player two. Good. Good. Back on the plus side. You get to pick again, player two. It's the spicy two-word name for a type of knot that lets you join a rope to a rail or a post. Player one. That is correct. Player one, you pick again, please. Answer, a daily double. You are currently in the lead. So, what's your wager? All right, here's your clue. This bear got his name from the London train station where he was first found after arriving from Peru. That puts you even further ahead. We return to you, player one. Muskrats and wood rats belong to this order of mammals. Let's hear it, player two. Anyone else? Yes, player three. Sorry. Nice wrong. Any other takers? Okay, player one. Right you are. Please pick again, player one. Used before barrel, it suggests the homespun style and philosophy of rural folk. Player one. No, that's not right. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Yes, player two. Oh, sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player three. You again, player three. This series, Peter Petrelli had visions that he would cause a nuclear holocaust in New York City. It's player two. Hey, you're right. Hey, you're on the plus side. Player two, back to you for our next selection. The Moses of her people. She helped hundreds of slaves escape along the Underground Railroad. Okay, player three. Yep. You get to pick again, player three. Customs on this 121st day of the year include dancing around a pole and giving baskets to friends and family. Let's hear it, player one. Any other takers? Player two. That's correct. Player two, you pick again, please. Let's go to the Clue Crew for this next clue.
In an episode of this classic 60s series, bookworm Henry Bemis survives a nuclear war and finds a library, but then breaks his glasses.
It's player one. Correct. Player one, pick again. Shortly after her disappearance, her publisher, husband George Putnam, released Last Flight, containing her diaries. Yes, player two. That's incorrect. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Okay, player three. That is correct. Player three, back to you. This feisty tie fish blows sticky bubbles to make a nest, then puts the eggs in its mouth and blows them in the nest. Let's hear it, player two. Sorry. Anyone else? Yes, player one. You got it. Please pick again, player one. Former U.S. Senator Gaylord Nelson founded this annual observance devoted to the environment. Player three. No. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? It's player two. Yep, you're out of the hole. We return to you, player two. Created by Walt Morey, this docile bear lives in the Alaskan wilderness. Okay, player three. That is correct. Select again. In 1966, the U.S. government banned M80s and these round red firecrackers. Yes, player one. You again, player one. The patron saint of lovers is honored on this annual holiday. Okay, player two. You are correct. Choose again, player two. This Secretary of State, whose first name is from a musical term, had originally planned to be a concert pianist. Let's hear it, player three. Right. You get to pick again, player three. This literary bear started life as a real teddy bear bought as a toy for Christopher Milne. It's player one. Select again. In a 2007 episode of this series, a terrorist detonated a low-yield suitcase nuke in Valencia, California. Player two. That's correct. Choose again. Player two. Breakfast dish that can also mean to flatten. Okay, player two. No. Any other takers? Yes, player three. That's Care to try to come up with a correct response? It's player one. Hey, you're right. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. These animals of the order Chiroptera are the only mammals that can truly fly. Let's hear it, player one. That's it. Okay, we have player two in third place, which means that player two will go first in the Double Jeopardy round. Last place, what'll it be? Clues are worth $400 to $2,000 in these categories. Assassin and victim, B+. Classic kids lit. This side of Parasites, not nominated for Best Picture. And first names, player two. You're in last place, which means you get to select first in Double Jeopardy. As a verb, this first name means to send mail free of charge. Player one. That's right, way to go. Player one, you pick again, please. Yigal Amir, 1995. Yes, player two. Right you are. Player two, back to you for our next selection. Answer, one of the Daily Double. Player two, you're in last place. What'll it be? What'll it be? Okay, here is the clue. This type of drug relaxes the smooth muscles in the airways, causing them to open. Here's the correct response. A bronchodilator. You again, player two. Answer, the second Daily Double. Player two. You're in last place. So let's see if you can close the gap. How much? Answer this. The Black Pearl and Island of the Blue Dolphins are two classics by him. No. So here's the correct response. Scott Odell. Please pick again. Player two. Closely related to meningitis, this inflammation of the brain can result from viral infections or tiny parasites. It's player three. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else? Let's hear it. Player one. Correct. Player one, back to you. Driving Miss Daisy won for 1989, the year this Spike Lee film about urban racism was passed over. Okay, player two. That's correct. On the plus side again. We return to you, player two. In 1954, this Jimmy Stewart and Grace Kelly starer from Alfred Hitchcock didn't get a second glance. Player one. Player one, pick again. first name of Miss Marple's creator comes from a word that means good. Okay, player 3. That's not right. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? It's player 2. No. Anyone else? Player 1? Right. Player 1, you pick again, please. Completes the title of a classic about an African-American family. Roll of Thunder. Yes, player 3. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Let's hear it. Player 2. Oh, sorry. Any other takers? Yes, player 1. Good for you. Player 1, back to you. You can vend this soft ductless organ that fights infection with parasite detection. Okay, player 2. No. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 3. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else? It's player 1. Good. Select again. Able to speak both Spanish and English. Player 2. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Let's hear it, player 1. Sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? It's player 3. Yes. You again, player 3. Leon Czolgosz, 1901. Yes, player 1. Any other takers? Okay, player 2. Anyone else? Player 3. Yes. Great, you're back into it now. We return to you, player 3. Naplavum Godse, 1948. It's player 2. Nope. Sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Okay, player 3. Yes. Player 3, pick again. It speaks to Moses in Exodus 3. Player 1. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Yes, player 2. Sorry, that's wrong. Any other takers? Let's hear it, player 3. Yep. Please pick again, player 3. This classic is the first book in Madeleine L'Engle's Time Quartet. Yes, player 2. Nope. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Player 1? Correct. You get to pick again, player 1. PSI is a charity delivering nets to fight this parasite-caused disease that kills 3,000 African children a day. Let's hear it, player 3. Choose again, player 3. The Academy must have been out to lunch not nominating this 1961 Audrey Hepburn-George Peppard film. Okay, player 2. Player 2, back to you for our next selection. This first name, like that of the guy who married Medea, is from a Greek word for healer. It's player 2. No. Any other takers? Okay, player 3. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 1. Hey, you're right. Select again. This plant grows as a parasite on apple tree trunks, blooms in February and March, yet still is a factor in Christmas kisses. Yes, player 2. Correct. Player 2, back to you for our next selection. In a novel by Frances Hodgson Burnett, 7-year-old Cedric Arrow inherits a title and is known as Little Lord This. It's player 3. No, sorry. Anyone else? Player 2. No, that's not right. Any other takers? Okay, player 1. Right you are. Please pick again, player 1. It's 1 over par on a hole of golf. Let's hear it, player 1. That's incorrect. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? It's player 2. That's not it. Anyone else? Yes, player 3. Yes. Player 3, you pick again, please. James Earl Ray, 1968. Player one. Sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Let's hear it. Player two. That's incorrect. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? It's player three. That is correct. You again, player three. You couldn't drag a Best Picture nomination out of the Academy for this 1959 Billy Wilder film. Well, nobody's perfect. Yes, player three. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else? Okay, player two. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Player one. Good. Choose again, player one. Jennifer is a form of this other first name made famous by King Arthur's wife. Okay, player three. Good for you. Player three, pick again. Wild Bill Hickok's real first name was James. This was Buffalo Bill Cody's. Let's hear it, player three. No. Any other takers? It's player two. Anyone else? Yes, player one. Right. Player one, back to you. When a tiny parasite enters an oyster's shell, mantle cells cover it with nacre until this is formed. Player three. That's correct. You get to pick again, player three. Bogey and Hepburn floated across the screen in this 1951 film that pleased audiences and critics, but not the Academy. Yes, player two. Sorry, that's... Any other takers? Okay, player one. That's right, way to go. We return to you, player one. Shoeless. Let's hear it, player two. Correct. Select again. Marcus Junius Brutus et al., 44 BC. Player one. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? It's player three. Care to try to come up with a correct response? Player 2. Yes. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. This story begins, all children except one grow up. Okay, player 3. You got it. So if you're Slayer 2, score is not on the positive side, so you will not be joining us for Final Jeopardy. Jeopardy's still to come, and here's the category. Notable women. You need to select your Luigi. Press the corresponding direction on the plus control pad to select your response. Our final Jeopardy clue today is, in 1963, she said, I feel as though I'm suddenly on stage for a part I never rehearsed. Did you come up with the correct response? And that correct response had... What did you put as your response? With that correct response, you will gain... Congratulations, player 1. You're the winner.